So, Patreon got caught with their pants down, and now they're changing it back so that patrons don't have to pay extra and creators can continue paying that amount for themselves, which a lot of people generally agree is the best way to go about things because those $1 patrons are like the lifeblood of most good Patreon campaigns. But it seems like Patreon themselves don't quite understand how much that was going to hurt them even still. Because at this point it's pretty clear that they don't. Because nowhere in this apology letter or blog, whatever, blog post, you know what I mean. Nowhere on this do they mention that they realized that it would have hurt them, that they would have been affected by it if things had worked out the way that they were planning. And for the life of me, I don't understand this. And I think that the only reason they changed back their decision is because they couldn't get away with it the same way that, like, say, a site like Google or Facebook could, because they're pretty much 100% reliant on users. And without the users, they can't make money. And they don't make a whole lot of money in contrast to other websites as well, which is something you need to consider because they're not making thousands of dollars in advertising revenue. All the money they're making is coming from the transaction fees for the Patreons. That's all of the money they're getting, is that extra tiny little percentage that doesn't go to the bank or the content creators. That tiny little amount that goes to them specifically as a little middleman fee, you know? So they kind of had to do this. And I do not trust them when they say that they're sorry. They got caught with their pants down, and they are more reliant on us than most other websites on the internet. Most other major websites, I should say. I mean, obviously, like, smaller startup websites are definitely 100% reliant on us, which is why VidMe failed, of course, because they didn't listen to us. That's why Zipcast failed. Well, I mean, sort of why Zipcast failed, but, I mean, that mostly came down to the guy having a huge ego, but, you know, it's still a similar problem. And also Blip, which just, like, started purging users and thought they could get away with that. Nope. And then there was Rever, which after they sold out, it's just like, they just stopped paying the creators. It's like, no, you can't do that. Like, I don't know much about the Rever situation, but apparently that's how that site died. It's like, those sites can't get away with that kind of thing because they're smaller, and Patreon can't get away with that kind of thing because they're not making as much money. Because they have to sustain themselves on the tiny little percentage of income that they're getting from the creators. Or, you know, the Patreons that are funding the creator. You know what I mean. You know how it already works. They take a small percentage. And that's not a whole lot of money that they're getting from that. It's not. I can guarantee you that much. Like, I'm sure there are some Patreons who pay, like, tons of money to certain creators. But for the most part, it's always those little $1 donations, you know? And while those might pile up, they're certainly not making as much money as Google is right now with YouTube. Because Google's like bending over backwards for their advertisers, while Patreon doesn't need to do that. And, yeah, they need to understand that that kind of decision would have hurt them. It would have hurt them. I don't understand why they don't get that. Why is it so difficult to understand? Like, what did they think they could gain by making that change to begin with? What was in it for them? What was in it for anyone? Can't they just admit how stupid it was? It's like they're saying that the only reason they're changing it back is because people complained, not because they realized how stupid it was. And I think that says quite a bit about how little they comprehend what they really were trying to do. And that's kind of sad, really. That's I don't understand any of this. What was the point? What were they thinking? Were they even thinking? And who are the creators that they say that they talk to get feedback from? I'm noticing a lack of transparency in this apology. You notice that? Because I can't be the only one who's noticing that they still haven't admitted that they didn't actually talk to creators, nor have they told us who the creators they talked to were. Although at this point it is kind of understandable because people will probably start witch hunting them for telling them that it would be a good idea or whatever, if they even existed in the first place, of course, because obviously it seems pretty clear to me that they never actually existed. And they kind of need to own up to that. They kind of need to tell us that they screwed up. They need to tell us that. Apology is one thing. Yeah, they apologize, okay. They need to admit they screwed up. They need to admit that what they were doing was going to hurt them. So, where's that here? Where's that? It's just... They got caught with their pants down and they're still not quite admitting they screwed up. That's just... It says, we recognize that we need to be better at involving you more deeply and earlier in these kinds of decisions and product changes. Okay, but you do realize that the reason why why people are saying this, I don't think you do. It's not about the creator should be the ones to make these decisions. It's about the fact that the decision was stupid. It was stupid. Do you people running Patreon not understand this? I don't think you do. Until next time, don't trust anyone, and big websites are not your friends.